start with Bochy. Who's got the first question? We'll start with Pete, and then we'll go to Newey after that.
Bruce, beyond the fact that he's a talented pitcher, what makes Nate so good in these big games for you guys?
He's done it so many times. He has the ability, to rise to the occasion. He's got great stuff. You start with that, but the makeup of this man, he's just amazing. He wants to be out there in a game like this, and he's got great stuff. 4 pitches, and he's got really good focus. I mean, maniacal focus on every pitch, and it's been fun to watch him. It's been fun to get to know him, and he's the guy we needed out there tonight. And he set the tone. We needed him. Of course, early runs help, but what a great job he did.
Go to Newey back in the left.
Boch, can you confirm if Scherzer's your starter? And for some folks in America who have not seen your team, and this is their first time catching them, can you speak to that resiliency that your club has played with?
Yeah, first of all, Max is starting, so he gets the nod tomorrow. And we've talked about this so many times. During the season, we've had our ups and downs. We've had some tough streaks, injuries, but these guys keep getting up, and they keep bouncing back, and it's about being resilient in this game because it doesn't matter if it happens or not. It's more how you handle it, and so these guys have done a great job of putting that behind them, and tough loss in Game 5, and this is a must-win. I just love the way they responded and went out there and put together a great ball game. Contribution throughout the lineup. They all threw out some good at bats. Of course, early runs were nice. Garver's home run, Jonah's home run. But it's a good add-on the end, too. It allowed me to, rest Leclerc a little bit.
Go to Christy in the third row on your right.
So much is always made about home field advantage, but in this series it hasn't mattered. Why do you think that's happened in the series?
Wow, I wish I could answer that one. That's a $1 million question. Obviously, we wanted to win some games at home, but it didn't happen, and they play unbelievable on the road. You look at their record, but it's a very, I think, balanced clubs here that do a lot of things well. They pitch well. They have a good offense, and we've been pitching well, and we have a good offense too. So, but I can't explain that. I wish I could, or we do, or we would have done a better job at home.
We'll go to Steve in the fourth row on your right.
Bruce, looking at that bottom of the 8th inning, it looked like there was some by-the-gut managing going on. You went with a right-hander to face Alvarez, who strikes him out and gets him out for the first time. It was when you talked about the decisions on leaving Spores in and then also bringing in Leclerc to face a left-hander in Tucker.
Right. There are guys, so lefty or righty, I have no problem bringing them in. Sometimes you can overdo the matchup type thing, and it's not like Alvarez doesn't hit left-handers. He hits everybody. He's such a talent, and so. But we had our guy out there, and Sporzy made some great pitches there on him. So I'm comfortable with righties facing lefties. You look at the series. I know a lot of lefties have been out there, but you get in a game like this, we were going with our guys.
Go to the third row on your left, Bruce.
Bruce, you kind of talk about leaving things in the past. So to have a guy like Leclerc come in and work his way out of a jam after everything that happened on Friday, to have that short mental aspect to be able to work out of that, what does that do for the confidence of this club?
It does a lot of confidence. It's got to do a lot of confidence for Ozzie, too. I'm talking about Leclerc. That's a tough game, and it's a tough role as a closer. And, they always say a good closer has a short memory, and he does. He's such a tough kid, and I think he took it hard, but also had ability to put that behind him. He wanted to be back out there, and walking a guy, but runs a 3-2 count, makes a great pitch there. So we're lucky to have him.
Do 2 more, Hazel and Kevin.
Bruce, this has been an entertaining series from the fans' point of view. What has it been like to manage in this series?
It's been entertaining too with me. It's intense. There's no getting around it. People ask you, "Are you having fun?" Yeah, it's fun. You try to enjoy it, but it's intense out there, and it's what I came back for, though, to be in this situation. It's exciting. I was proud of these guys, how they came in here and just put together a great ball game.
We'll finish up with Kevin on your left, Bruce.
Bruce Bochy. So to clarify, you were going to bring Leclerc back for the ninth had it not been for the pumped up, run production there, and that would have meant a 5-out save. Is that what you would have planned on?
Yeah, but we had backup for him. I had Chappie.
And Chapman would have come in.
Yeah, Chappie, he would have been ready if Ozzie needed some help.
And so after tomorrow behind Scherzer, do you have is it be a matchup thing, or do you have anything in mind? Right
Well,
away?
we have a full bullpen because of the job that Nate did. So they're all hands on deck, as they say. They're all available, and sure you're going to look at matchups, things like that, but they're all ready to go.
Boch, thanks so much. I know Mitch is
Okay.
here. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, Mitch, congratulations. Thanks for your time. We'll start with Newey in the back left.
Hey, Mitch, we talked to you after game 2, and you said, look, that's Houston. It's a good ball club. They're going to come back, and here you are now going to a game 7. You're kind of on point here that, this is a true fight. Can you speak to that and how you guys pushed and got yourselves to 7?
Yeah, I've said it from the middle of August. It was going to be a dogfight all the way to the end. Really, really good ball club on both sides. They have pitching, they have hitting, but so do we. And, it's one game to settle it all, and I think everybody's pretty excited for that.
Other questions? In the middle here, third row.
As y'all go up against Javier again, what about that fastball in particular is so difficult for offenses to handle?
His location is really good, and the movement on it is really good. Mid 90s, it has this feeling that it's riding at the top of the zone. A lot of the miss is going to be under the fastball, and we know that. And he does a really good job mixing his pitches, but also utilizing the top of the zone with it. So it's just a matter of game planning and execution.
Third row on your left, Mitch.
Mitch, so far through the series, no one has been able to win at home. Can you just kind of talk about what this series back and forth is and the mentality between it?
Never seen it. I don't know that it's ever happened before. It seems a little odd. Nobody's winning at home, and I would like for it to stay that way. But it is interesting. So, two very passionate fan bases. Playing on the road is not an easy thing to do, but we've been doing it all postseason, and it's just one of those things that maybe it brings out the best in us. Maybe we rise to the occasion, but it's been tough. But we're open for the challenge.
Fourth row on your left, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch, what was going through your head during Adolis' Grand Slam, and what have you noticed about his ability to come up big in moments?
I've seen him do that before, actually. He's punched out 3 or 4 times in a game and come up and hit a really big homer. He did it against Minnesota, hit a walk-off homer after doing something like that. If there's one guy I want to play in hostile conditions, I think it's Dolly. And, he showed it tonight. Wasn't able to get the bat on the ball in the first 4 at-bats, but really put an exclamation point on that last one.
One row behind, Kevin.
Mitch, you and Jonah are kind of attached at the hip now in the lineup. It seems like moving around in different places in it, and obviously you've become a big 1-2 punch here. Does that feel like? Are y'all comfortable? I guess hitting one after another there.
Yeah, we love it. Anytime he's able to drive me in, or vice versa, it's always good. And I always have that catcher mentality, even though I haven't been catching. Like scoring runs in the 8th and scoring insurance runs in the 9th, they're so big for us, and we love being able to help each other out like that. It eases your mind a little bit going into those final outs of the game, and can't state enough how big Jonah's been for this team.
One last one for Mitch. We'll finish up with Newey.
Can you speak to the bullpen? Spores comes in, Leclerc with the bases loaded, and just especially coming off what happened in Arlington last.
Yeah, they both did a really, really good job tonight. Spores has been solid for us all year, really spinning the ball well, and then Pico came in right behind him, and I know that was a gut punch, Game 5, how it ended like that, but Pico's the guy to get the ball for us, and I think what he was able to do there and navigate that 8th inning and punch out Singleton there to end the inning was huge for us. Just gave us a ton of momentum, and hopefully, he believes he's our guy, because he is, and he's been so good for us.
Congrats on your great night, Mitch.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks. Nate is here. All right, we'll get started with Nate. Nate, congratulations. And who's got the first question? We'll start with Pete near the back.
Nate, when you got that last out in the first inning, you looked almost annoyed at yourself because of what had happened. Kind of, how did you get it back together emotionally and be able to pitch those next 2 innings like you did?
Yeah, I felt like at the beginning of the game I was rushing, trying to do too much out there as opposed to just locating my pitches and trusting the stuff that I have. So yeah, I was a little frustrated, and then on top of it, I gave up a run. And anytime you're in a must-win game and you give them the lead first, it's tough. And it was big for us to be able to answer back right there in the first inning and make it 1-1 and go from there. And our offense was unbelievable today. Garver, Jonah did a great job. Dolly came up with a big hit, but we were able to settle down after that first inning, and it was just from that moment, once we tied it back up, it was attack, 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 and I felt like we were able to do that. And Jonah did a great job calling the game today and, helping navigate me, get me back on track. And then I feel like once I get back on track, now we're working together as opposed to me having to rely on him. But, I thought he did an unbelievable job back there behind the plate. And, I was just trying to go as deep as I could.
Go to the third row on your right here, Nate.
You guys spent the entire season battling with the Astros. Is it kind of fitting that it all comes down to one game?
Yeah, we knew that they weren't just going to roll over. When we came in here and took the first two, and then they answered right back and took three at our place. So it's big for us to be able to turn the page and be able to lock in on this game today, and now we got to do the same thing tomorrow. And obviously it's win or go home, so we got to make sure that we do what we did today, and I think that set the tone with the starting pitching. And Scherzer's going to be able to do that tomorrow and go out there and attack the zone and try to keep them off balance as much as possible. But everybody will be ready to go and play by ear.
Further back on your far left, Kevin.
What is your confidence level in Max tomorrow, and how much do you think it plays? Obviously he's been restricted by things that have happened to him, but how much does his experience in this kind of situation impact your feelings about his ability to do this?
Yeah, he's been in this situation before. He knows how to go out there and compete and pitch. I think he's definitely going to be a lot better than his last outing. I was in the same shoes, obviously not in the playoffs, but just bouncing back. From start to start, you continue to get better and better, and he hasn't shut it off or anything. He's been ready to go and chomping at the bit. So I know that last start against him didn't sit well, and the competitor that he is, he's going to go out there and do a great job tomorrow.
Hazel up front.
When starters are pressured or try to wiggle out of damage, they tend to power through it. You mentioned that you kind of rely on backing off and locating your pitches. Is that something that you've learned the more experience you've had in this league?
Yeah, I think so. I've got the 5 pitches that I can trust and go to at any time. And, at the beginning I was trying to overthrow and, like you said, try to overpower guys. And, I've been harping on that the entire postseason. You don't want to try to overpower somebody. You want to locate and, use that pitch. Everybody's got their weaknesses, and, if you locate your pitch, you should be able to get them out. And today, once I was able to settle in, I was able to do that. But, yeah, like you said, I think a lot of it has been from the past experiences. When I try to overpower somebody, I tend to miss middle, and, some big damage is done, and make sure I locate my pitches.
And one row behind Hazel, and the third row on the left.
Nate, Bruce said that because of your pitching performance today, that he has almost the whole bullpen at his disposal. Just what kind of confidence does that give you guys going into Game 7?
That was part of it today. I knew I had to go out there and attack the zone. Part of the reason I was frustrated in the first inning, I look back and I think I was at 22 pitches, and then after the second, I was close to 40. And Altuve had a great at bat. The first at bat, got a base hit, and then I walked Brantley, and now I got to face Bregman and Alvarez, and they're both very talented hitters. So I got to make sure that I'm saving my pitches, and for me to get into the 7th was big for us today. And like you said, we're able to save a lot of our big arms out of the bullpen, and now everybody's going to be available tomorrow, and we'll just play it by ear, and it's a must-win.
One row behind on your left.
Was there any conversation about going back out in the 7th, or was it kind of no doubt in your mind?
Well, they took me out, so I didn't really have a choice.
About going back out into the 7th before.
Am I wrong? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, when I was done, I was done. So sorry.
First row on your right here, Nate.
Nate, if you could talk about Jose Leclerc's demeanor, especially after Game 5, what can you talk about him and his role in today's game?
I mean, he's been huge for us the entire season, especially towards the end of it. You know, we've been relying on him in a lot of really big situations. And, you know, we talked about being able to turn the page, you know, especially in one of these moments. You know, in the regular season, yeah, you got, you know, a month or so before you face these guys again. But when you have to roll out the next day after a tough loss like that, you know, you really got to try to turn the page and learn from it as fast as possible. And he was able to do that tonight. You know, Singleton came up there with the bases loaded and worked another full count. And, you know, tonight Pico was able to come out on top of it. So it was a big momentum change and boost for us. And we were able to answer back with some more runs in the ninth.
Far back to left center aisle.
You're from here. You've pitched here a lot in the playoffs for other teams, and you've had a lot of success here. Has that strained any relationships that you have in the area?
Yes and no. I mean, I would say my mom's more so against hold everybody else accountable. You know, she wants whatever team I'm on them to root for me and not the Astros. So I don't know. I don't have any hard feelings for family though.
Steve, on your right, Nate.
Nate, as usual, Yordan Alvarez loomed big in this game. In a tie game in the third, you walked him to put the go-ahead run at second base. I was wondering if you could talk about that sequence and then also your vantage on Josh striking him out in the middle of that eighth-inning rally for the Astros and what a big out that wound up being.
Yeah, I mean, he's had outstanding at-bats against me. I feel like I'm making good pitches, but, you know, the results are he's getting on base. So, you know, I got to do something different to try to get him out. He's a tough at-bat, and, you know, like I touched on earlier, I feel like if I locate my pitches where I should be able to get him out. But, again, you know, he's had really good at-bats, and, you know, especially in a situation like this today, we don't want to have that one batter beat us. And I felt like he was the guy who could beat me. And, you know, I had a little bit more confidence facing Abreu, even though he's an extremely talented hitter, but I've had a little bit more success against him. So wanted to attack him that way and kind of go from there.
What about Josh's striking?
Yeah, Spores was unbelievable. You know, again, he was able to locate two really good curveballs and then a fastball at the top part of the zone. And, I mean, that was a big strikeout in that situation for us because, again, you know, I think we were only up by 2 runs right there. And, you know, one swing of the bat, he can tie it up.
Anything else for Nate? We'll finish up right here.
Nate, through 6 games in this series, the away team has won every single game. Just have you ever been a part of a series like this before? And also, just is there something about playing away from home with a little bit more of that underdog mentality that kind of has you guys chomping at the bit a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what this is about. I feel like for the most part, you know, you have your home crowd and you're at home and you feel. I mean, we've had a lot of success at home this year, and but the Astros have had a lot of success on the road. So I mean, they kind of overmatched us right there at home. And again, when we come back here, we know how important it is to win the first 2 games. We were trying to win. Obviously, you're trying to win both of them. It worked out for us. You know, we'd be happy with 1-1, and then taking the rest of the series back at our place. But the way it's unfolded, you know, right now it's must win. So I think that's the mentality, and you try not to do too much, but you go out there and you understand what's on the line as well.
Nate, great job once again. Thanks for
Thank
your time.
y'all.
Appreciate it.